With many questions regarding Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man's origin, the new animated show, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman, may have just confirmed the details of his origin. This new origin does change the big origin that almost every Spider-Man has, considering the events of Into the Spider-Verse, but it does line up pretty well with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. The animated show was originally supposed to work as the actual origin for Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man, but it was then changed to work as another Spider-Man within the multiverse of the MCU. But this version still has a lot of similarities to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and it seems like they're still using this show as a way to tell and hint of his origin with comparisons within these two versions of Spider-Man. Really quick, before we get into the details of this new origin, if you are a small channel, make sure you comment down below under my thread so we can build a community to help grow everyone's channels by subscribing to each other who comment down below. Back into Spider-Man, just in case you haven't watched the show yet and you want to watch it, I will be telling spoilers, so you've just been warned. For starters, a couple of noticeable changes that don't affect Peter's origin are how Norman and Harry Osborn are now depicted as people of color, and Dr. Curtis Connors is now Carla Connors. Outside of those changes, the show makes big changes that truly affect the origin of this Spider-Man. Peter Parker ends up getting his powers with interactions from Doctor Strange and Venom. Spider-Man has gotten his powers in the past without any interaction with prior heroes or villains. And with this version, Doctor Strange was the reason for Peter getting his powers. Doctor Strange came through a portal, which the spider did too. So this can potentially be a spider from a different dimension that bit Peter, similar to the spider that bit Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies. What's unique about this origin outside of another variant of Doctor Strange being the reason Peter gets his powers is Peter's life and events before the spider bite. At the beginning of episode 1, Peter is living alone with Aunt May and they talk about the loss of Uncle Ben. That changes things how Uncle Ben dies before he becomes Spider-Man. This is so important to the Tom Holland Spider-Man because they never talk about Uncle Ben or his origin. While in the events of No Way Home, Aunt May is the one who gives Peter the great powers comes with great responsibility speech right before she dies and Peter goes into mourning. That right there is hinting how Tom Holland's Spider-Man must have followed a similar timeline of events with Uncle Ben dying before he gets bit by the spider. There are other parallels that show that even though this Spider-Man is different from Tom Holland's, this version is very similar and might be the closest version of his origin. With small hints like the Queen's opening card, Peter finding a DVD player in the trash and entering his apartment listening to Alt J's Left Hand Free as Aunt May is talking to a rich mentor of Peter's, except in this version, instead of it being Tony Stark, it's Norman Osborn. It also had a scene where it showed Spider-Man catching a car right in front of a bus, which is the same exact scene from Captain America Civil War when Iron Man is in Spider-Man's room and he shows the clip of him catching a car in front of a bus from the internet. These parallels are definitely not by accident and do have meaning, as the writers 100% made these connections to hint at the origin Tom Holland's Spider-Man had, without actually telling his origin story. At first, I was wondering what the point of this show was. If it wasn't actually based off of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, then why does the MCU need this installment? But I am happy with the creation of the show, and I think that it can tell an interesting story that is enjoyable to watch. Let me know down below what your thoughts of this show are, and what do you think of the connection to Tom Holland's Spider-Man.